Microphone check. Ladies and gentlemen, I figured it out. I got it figured out. I got it. I figured it out. Frankie from Flatbush, reporting for Frankie from Flatbush headquarters, recording the Frankie from Flatbush show. And I figured it out, ladies and gentlemen. I figured it out. I figured out the path. I figured out the plan. And Dutch Vanderlyn said, I have a plan. Well, we got a plan, and old Frankie figured it out. And we're going to have to go and take a look at something to illustrate what the plan is. But before we do that, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to the channel. We're in the 600s of subscribers. We're trying to get up to 1,000, so that's a long difference. So we need your help. Please subscribe to the channel. It's free. Otherwise, just give a like on the video if you could. That helps as well if you don't want to subscribe. But if you want to go a little bit extra, go the other end of the spectrum. You can join the inner circle where you get exclusive items, exclusive reports, exclusive documents, exclusive emojis. You get information nobody else gets. You get spreadsheets. You get PDFs of playbooks. You get everything. $5 a month. Click the join button below this video and you join the inner circle. All right, that being said, where do we got to go, Frankie? We got to go to the roster. So let's see if we can bring this up. Will the technology work? We don't know. We're not sure. We have no idea what's going on. But we try very hard to do so. All right, let's go to the roster, the rooster, to figure out what in the hell is going on. Now, as you know, I am a person who likes to figure out what the Jets are going to do and then tell you about it. That's basically my value proposition to you, as opposed to the rest of the people out there with Jets YouTube channels, of which there are probably 7 million. But Frankie, a little bit different. I tell you what's going to happen, then it happens. Now, I've been worried about this right tackle spot for a long time because it needs addressing. Now, the idea is we're bringing in Justin Fields. We're going to be ground and pound. Okay, we're going to run the ball more. All right, understandable. But you need a right tackle to do that. You also need a blocking tight end, which we haven't brought in. And so I've been, as we've been talking about this all off season, I've been considerably worried about the way the roster construction's going with some of these signings that we've made. Now, as you can see here, the people in orange are the new people that we signed. And in fact, Andrew Beck was kind of a free agent move. I don't know if he's going to make the team, really, Andrew Beck, but he is a tight end fullback hybrid, but he's probably not making the team. Nonetheless, so you see all the people we've added, and there's a big hole at right tackle, and that's been worrying me. Now, we have the 7th pick in the draft, of course, and we could address it there. But I've been doing a deep dive on this Tyler Warren fella, and I got to say, of course, I knew about Tyler Warren, but I've been doing more of a deep dive. I knew what he offered. I knew what he provided. The more I think about it, though, I think this staff is going to be really intrigued by the skill set that Tyler Warren brings to the table. But the problem is you can't have a big fat hole at right tackle and bring in a tight end. Like, that does no good. Ruckert has been disappointing. Stone Smart was a good signing in that we're taking a flyer on him. Maybe he could be a pass catching type, but blocking's not his forte. Andrew Beck probably isn't good enough, even though this is the sort of guy we want on the roster. And Beck is more of the backup, make the practice squad type of guy. So we got holes here. So how are we going to fill 2 holes with one shot? Now, I've been thinking all along, well, it's going to be Membu, and that's how we're going to do it. And then we're going to come up short on the tight end. Maybe we take a Mason Taylor in the 2nd round, something like that, or one of those other tight ends. Jackson Hawes later in the draft, who I love also. But the more I think about it and the more I studied what Tyler Warren brings, I think that the Jets staff is not going to be able to pass up Tyler Warren with the 7th pick, and here's why. If you pick Tyler Warren, you get a tight end, you get a wide receiver, you get a running back, you get a fullback, you get an offensive lineman, and you even get a quarterback. Did you know that he was a quarterback in high school? Did you know that The Nittany Lions, Penn State would run the Wildcat with him as the quarterback, where he would run sometimes and also throw. Did you know that? Did you know he even punted in college? He even had one kick return. I mean, this guy is can do so many things on a football field that is so valuable to somebody like Tanner Engstrand, who probably wants to do lots of creative things. We're going to have kind of a limited quarterback with Fields, and so, what better thing to bring in than a guy who can do everything? He's like a force multiplier, this guy. As I've done this deep dive, I don't know, man. I think it's the right move. Now, if we do that, though, what do we do with right tackle? That's the whole key to this. Because you can't have a four-person line. You cannot have Max Mitchell start. You cannot have Carter Warren start. You cannot have Chooks Okorafor start. He shouldn't be on the team. Another story, let alone starting. So what the hell do we do? The whole key to all of this is this, man right here. Elijah Vera Tucker. I think this coaching staff has already spoken to AVT. Don't know this. No sourcing here, just me guessing. And said, listen, Elijah, if we need you to move out to tackle, are you willing to do it? Now, there's a couple of problems with this. He has a pretty extensive injury history. He was pretty healthy last year, but we learned late in the season he was playing with a high ankle sprain. Played through it, so that's good in terms of like toughness. But he had injuries before that, so it's a roll of the dice. But we know he can do it, and this would be sort of the secondary plan because I think now the primary plan is Tyler Warren at 7, and then a guy like Ezery or one of those other guys, Connerly, in the second round, one of those next tier tackles, in the second round, and you do it that way. But if they're all gone, then I think they're going to take a defensive tackle there, a guy like Alfred Collins, for example, and then they're going to take a third round guard and then let Myers and said third round guard, Josh Myers, that we signed, who can back up the center but also can back up the guards. I think they're going to say to Josh Myers, hey, we'll let you compete to be a starting guard, even though he's been mostly a center throughout his career. Those centers can play guard. It's not a problem. And Myers would say, oh, I can compete to start. Okay, yeah, that's good. Better than being a backup. But he'll compete with the rookie. Let the best man win. And that's the backup plan. So the worst you could do is have Tucker at tackle, Myers at guard, Tippmann, Simpson, Fashanu, and then you have the all-purpose tight end, Tyler Warren, and you then address your defensive tackle need now. So that's the offensive plan. Then on defense, we need kind of more than people think on defense, but I think that the staff thinks that Noddy as a starter and Taylor as a backup, Leonard Taylor III, and Cowart is enough. If we strike out on everything, if we went into the season with these four, it wouldn't be great. Tufele's not making the team. Maybe they have faith in Fedarian Mathis that we still do have, young guy. But maybe they think Leonard Taylor's going to take a step up, and by the end of the season, toward the middle of the season, with some point during the season, Taylor starts getting more snaps than Noddy. Noddy moves back into a backup, meaning less snaps, and Cowart, is going to be backup in terms of snap count also. And maybe Fedarian Mathis is in the mix, and maybe they think that's good enough, considering that probably we're going to be blitzing more with this man. Quincy Williams. Quincy Williams will probably become a heat-seeking missile this year, I think, for Steve Wilkes. And you kind of paper over, at least in the passing game, some of your deficiencies in not having the greatest defensive line in the world by blitzing more. Now, how is that going to help us against the run? I don't know. I think that's our biggest problem is defending the run right now, based on all these people. We need another safety. And we need edge help as well. Look at our edges. Will McDonald, great against a pass, terrible against a run. Jermaine Johnson coming back from injury. We hope he's going to be great and fine and all that. But then behind them, we got Braden McGregor, Michael Clemens, and Eric Watts and Rashad Weaver. That's not good. So we need help there as well. But that's the way I could see it. That's kind of the path. And if you think about it, it could work if let's say we insert a second round. Let's say we got Alfred Collins, all right, and kicks out Byron Cowart into a inactive role for the most part. And we pick up a safety somewhere along the way in the fifth round, or we just sign somebody after the comp pick period's over. There's a bunch of safeties out there that would compare with Cisco. Move Adams back into the backup role where he belongs, along with Isaiah Oliver. And now the defense isn't looking so bad. I mean, if you think about it, right now we have 70 players I have counted here. 70. And then we have 8 draft picks. That's 78. That leaves 12 spots. And then you got UDFAs. So I think we're going to have 3 more signings after the draft. 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. And so maybe some of those guys could fill in there. And then you're going to have the rest are going to be UDFAs. You're going to have 9 to 8, 9, 10 UDFAs. And that's okay. And we still got to do something about Lazard. Maybe we could trade him, maybe we can't, but right now he's on the roster. And so that could be someone who's gone. I mean, Weaver, Tufele, Sermon, a lot of these people are easily you can get rid of. Maybe they're trying to trade Michael Clemens for something and acquire more draft capital. That'd be nice if they could do it. But I think this is the path forward. I think if you do a deep dive on Tyler Warren, I think you'll get very, very excited about what he can bring. Very different player than a Brock Bowers, say, or even a Travis Kelce type. He's just sort of like can do everything really well. Brings a physicality and a toughness that we need here, especially if we're running the Justin Fields ground and pound. He's the sort of the perfect player for that. And especially because you could do a lot of Wildcat stuff, not a lot, but you could do some Wildcat stuff with him. And then you have Justin Fields going out, who's a great athlete, going out into the flat there. He's not like Tom Brady standing out there. You actually have to you have to respect his speed, right? If he starts running down the field, Justin Fields, you got to kind of keep track of him. So that means you got to take a person out of the middle of your defense in a Wildcat and actually care about Justin Fields. That's sort of a chess match that you could have. I think old Tanner Engstrom is really licking his chops going, boy, we could really do something with that kind of alignment, and it avoids, and the whole thing with that is it avoids you needing expensive wide receivers. I mean, give Garrett his money and then you got one, and then you just need functional people who can do certain things and play certain roles. You don't necessarily need all these high-priced people. Just one is enough. And so I don't know. Let me know what you think about all this. I think this is the path forward. I think this is why we're not seeing more free agent action on the right tackle position, on the tight end position. Like one of the 3 people we could sign after the comp period's over is like a Mo Alley-Cox or a Ian Thomas, right? Those 2 guys. I bet you we get one of those 2 guys after the draft is over. There's 2 reasons to wait after the draft is over. What if we pick 2 of them and we just happen to take 2? If we get Tyler Warren, you could still draft Jackson Hawes, by the way, in the 4th, 5th round. You don't have to not do that. I mean, a tight end room of that'd be pretty cool. Tyler Warren, Jackson Hawes, Jeremy Ruckert, and Stone Smart. That's actually a neat room, and Ruckert would be the one in trouble there. But you can keep 4 tight ends; it's not a problem. Anyway, I think that's the path forward. I think I figured it out. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and consider joining the Inner Circle for exclusive items. And also check out the coffee mugs down below. You can get a Jets coffee mug that you can sip out of while watching Coffee with Frankie on Sundays, 10 a.m. And with that being said, I'll see you next time.
Non-pertinent. How do you log that non-pertinent?
No drug talk?
They use codes to hide their patron phone numbers. And when someone does use a phone, they don't use names. And if someone does use a name, he's reminded not to. All of that is valuable evidence.
Of what?
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy?
We're building something here, Detective. We're building it from scratch. All the pieces matter.